Hi everybody, you're looking live at the world famous Salon des Cheval here in Paris, France. My name's Greg Knowles and we're going to take you through 3 days of the most amazing horse show you can imagine. Right behind me is one of the most beautiful sights for a world champion horse show that I've ever seen. And we're excited to bring you everything that it's going to be, the names, the breeders, and of course, the horses. Rory, tell us a little bit, Rory O'Neill, my partner, he's going to share a little bit of what the schedule is today. Rory?
Pretty exciting first day, Friday afternoon here in Paris for you in the United States. It's in the morning, have some coffee with us. We're going to have 6 sections today of females. We're going to start with the yearling fillies, that's section A and B, Greg. Then move on to the junior females, 2 and 3-year-olds, 2 sections of those, and then we'll finish up with the senior mares, section A and section B. So 6 total goes. Top 4 in each class automatically qualify for Sunday's championships, and then they take the next 2 highest scores to get to 9 and 10th. So 10 horses in each division move on to Sunday's championships.
And those championships, Rory, are comparative at that point, right?
That's correct. So we're going to score them with the point system over here in Europe.
Okay.
And we have 8 judges working the arena. In this arena, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to see fabulous horses, but it's ginormous. 100 by 200, biggest arena they run in all year.
They will expose themselves if they're not big movers. This arena is a huge arena. Horses will come in, carry their tail, show expression, and then be presented to the judge center ring. From all over the world, whether you're up yet, it's early or not, from China to South America to the US, there's 20 countries represented here today. And each and every one of you, I hope you're tuning in. Enjoy the complete week.
We're at ArabianEssence.tv. Catch us on our app. We're brought to you by this week Al Sheikh Stud. We really appreciate this. Is the first ever, Greg, attempt at a live feed commentary like a real sporting event, and these horses are worthy of that coverage.
Just look at this arena, ladies and gentlemen. Beautiful, beautiful arena. No expense spared, and the warm-up ring before the horses come into the arena, you would think it's the center arena. It's absolutely beautiful.
Fantastic.
And one of the things that's interesting is all the reception boxes are around it. So
that's right. Trade booths, farms, stallion booths, hospitality is all handled there. It's absolutely fantastic.
It's beautiful, and you can see the crowd starting to come in.
Le syndicat du Salon du Cheval de Paris se réjouissent de vous accueillir pour la 38e édition des championnats du monde du cheval arabe, placé sous le haut patronage de Sa Majesté le roi Mohammed VI du Maroc. Ladies and gentlemen, Seneca and the Salon du Cheval de Paris are glad to welcome you here for the 38th edition of the World Championships for Arabian horses. سيداتي أنساتي وسادتي السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. سينيكا والصالون دو شيفال دو باريس يستقبلكم بغاية السرور بمناسبة البطولة العالمية 2018. Bienvenue à nos juges. Le jury pour cette classe sera composé du juge C, Ahmed Hamza, représentant l'Égypte, juge D, Régis Huette pour la France, juge E, Holger Isma pour l'Allemagne. Mourila Kamar sera juge F et représente le Brésil. Le juge G, Joseph Polo pour les États-Unis et Francesco Santoro pour l'Italie. Et nous attendons en piste les yearling femelles. Cet après-midi, nous aurons l'ensemble des qualificatifs, donc 6 classes qualifiant pour les championnats du monde. Placée sous le patronage d'Al-Shira Stable, cette première classe est sponsorisée par Al-Batain Stud et la plus belle tête sera récompensée par Al-Rayyan Farms. Place au pouliche de 1 an.
Legs and movement. Each one can be chosen between 1 and 20 points, 1 being horrendous, of course, and 20 being ideal. No one will get 1. No one will even get a 12. They'll be around 15 and above. This is the best horses in the world. Of course they're going to score high.
I expect many 19.520s in the head category, in the movement category this weekend. These are fabulous horses. If you're not here, get on ArabianEssence.tv, powered by Al Sheikh Stud. If you're in the paddock, you can log on to the app. You can follow along while the show is taking place. And the warm-up paddock, the collection ring, the marshalling area, as you mentioned earlier, Greg, is fabulous. It's decorated to the tees. They have hospitality booths around, the dining areas around, the bars. And it's a ginormous, everybody's watching horses there as much as they're watching from the VIP area, which I believe there's about 150 VIP tables this week.
It's amazing. And Rory, you know, I had the opportunity to judge the U.S. Nationals less than a month ago. And so I can imagine the nerves that the judges have right now, the anticipation to be able to judge probably the most extreme class of the day, the yearling fillies.
For us, very
Everybody
anticipated. In
loves
the United States, we love the yearling filly. That's the most anticipated class of the show. Here, I would say they're all equal. This is a fabulous entourage of living works of art being presented. I mean, these horses, this is like an all-star game, Greg.
It's the best of the best. Let me tell you who the judges are so you'll know who they are. Leslie Connor Hoskins, she's from the U.S. Comrade Detaler, he's from Belgium. Ahmad Namsen from Egypt. Let me see, Regis Holt from France. Holger Ismar is from Germany. Marilla Kamer from Brazil. Joseph Polo from U.S. and Francesco Santoro from Italy. Those are your judges. They'll come in and out. They'll draw, I believe, to see whose turn to judge what. And here in Europe, it's interesting. If you have a conflict of interest, they will recuse themselves, and another one of the judges will sit in for them. And that helps avoid undue conflicts of interest.
That's right, it certainly is. And then on Championship Sunday, all 8 will judge. The ring will be set up a little different format. Trotting will take place differently than today. Today they'll work around the arena clockwise. On Championship Sunday, they'll go right down the middle between the judges, and then it'll be, as you said earlier, a comparative on Sunday. So scoring the next 2 days, qualifying rounds, the sections, and then comparative final on Sunday.
I cannot thank enough Al Sheikh Stud, who has made this possible for us. It's an exciting day here at the Salon de Cheval, day 1 of the Arabian World Championships here in Paris.
Yearling fillies, just moments away, Greg.
I can't believe it.
Section A.
Can you imagine the guys in the warm-up ring, all excited, warming their horses up, getting those tails up over their backs so the gate opens? You know, you can just see the faces of the judges, the excitement, the anticipation, and the seriousness.
For some of you that show outside of the Europe, Middle East, outside the Akaho brand of sanctioning, maybe you're from Australia, maybe you're from the United States, there's a little bit more of the bagging, the hazing allowed through the stands in the arena. You're allowed to warm them up in the warm ring. The chute is off limits, and then as they enter the arena, your team, your grooms, your helpers can disperse around the arena and help enhance the movement of this class.
That's a great point. In the States, they're not allowed to do that as much, but they really want the horse to show its movement and show its Arabian type and expression.
That's correct. They really want to see these horses move. With the ring set up, it's big, it's open, and if you don't come in that first 30 seconds and explode, you're going to have a long day, aren't you, Greg?
No cigar. No cigar.
That's correct.
You go, they don't do their job, you're going home. And it's important. Each and every owner has spared no expense. Here we go. The horses are starting to come down the ramp. That's Mr. Spoonley.
We expect, Greg, 12 fillies in Section A. 1 through 12. So the first horse of the arena will be number 1 throughout the weekend, and so on through number 12. Section B will begin with horse number 16 today. There they are. The first horse is in the chute. The other horses are queuing behind them in the collection ring, the marshalling area, the warm ring, wherever you're from. That's your terminology. It's a very long chute. It is exactly 10 feet or 3 meters wide. The arena is 100 feet by 200 feet. I walked it today. It is special footing. It's the 100 jumper show. The World Championship of 100 jumping for the Longines circuit comes in next week. So it's that artificial threaded mixed in with sand. It's a colder, wetter footing down there. The judges were explaining to us the other day in the hotel that they bring waterproof shoes because their feet get pretty wet working the show all weekend. You
know, quite frankly, the cost of that footing is probably more than a lot of folks home.
That's correct. It's world-class footing for world-class horses, and right here, this is a very interesting filly. She's done well all year, so let's see how she looks today as she breaks the gate. First horse in the arena for Paris, the Salon du Cheval World Championships.
We are expecting number 1, JJ Dana to enter the gate first. That's the first contestant
in our catalog.
She has number 1 on her back. I saw something down the ramp that looks a little different. This is not number 1. Maybe a couple horses scratched. We're going to see as this opens up. Sort of a mystery at first. Yeah,
Frank.
this has got to be wearing number 3 according to our catalog.
Frank using a little strategy here.
There she is.
Not using all of his trot coming down the chute, saving it for his individual judging, because they do come in right now as a group, Greg, and then they are excused and they come back in again and eventually trot and be judged and centering in front of the judges.
This is AJ Samara. She is by AJ Martin out of Sama AM, and she is bred by Ajman Stud, owned by Ajman Stud, and presented today by Frank Spoonlay. Number 5, Alexandria NWA, now walks in. She is by FAL Rashim out of Magdalena NWA, who is a QR Mark daughter. She is owned by NWA Arabians, and she's owned by NWA Arabians and presented today by Mr. Tom Oben.
Danish horse, very nice.
There we go. Number 8. Number 8 breaks the gate.
So different strategies being utilized to come in the class as the group entrance. Some are going full gas, some are walking casually, saving their...
This is number 8, SS La Bella. And La Bella is an American-bred filly. She was bred by Ottoman Arabians.
Good friend Mustafa Sabankaya.
Yeah, up in Northern California, owned now by El Chakran Stud. She is Calypso OS out of EF Bella Contessa, who was by QRXL, who was by Magic Dream. Philip Jose was on the lead with that horse, and now right there you're seeing number 11. Number 11's in the gate. She's gray. Dana J is her name. And Dana J is by Escalabrier out of Delia J. Parr.
What an elegant group, Greg, as they all start to filter in. Their supporters cheering like we see around the world.
That's Dana J, and she's owned by Jadim Arabians, bred by Jadim Arabians. We have Frederick Van Sass on the lead. So each of these contestants have come in. They're going to circle up. They're going to try to impress the judges to the best they can initially. Let me show you what I have. Take a peek. They'll go back outside, and each one will come in individually.
So we ended with 14 in the catalog, Greg, and we have 6 that ended up showing this morning.
So that tells you how that thing breaks. If you missed anybody, don't worry. We'll review this as each horse comes in individually. What a beautiful, beautiful class of fillies. Unquestionably, the class of the class, and without a doubt, the best group of fillies, yearling fillies in the world, presented in the world this year. Most of them have all been on the circuit. They've won and have accolades from all over the world. They're here today to compete against the best, and I think we're going to just love this class.
It's interesting to know about the yearlings, both the fillies and the colts this weekend, Greg. They did not need to qualify to show here. The older horses, the 2 and 3 year olds on up, had to qualify at a qualifying mark at a show earlier this year, but these may have been shown, like many of them have been campaigned, as you mentioned earlier, hold many titles. There's some serious title holders, gold medal winners in this group, but they did not have to qualify, so it is kind of a grab bag. There might be a star that shows up out of nowhere.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, there is a dark horse there's been some talk about.
In the Section B.
In Section B.
So we'll see. A lot of advertising, no pictures of her. Great strategy, and we'll get to see her in person here in Section B.
People that have seen her said she's really special. I can't wait to see her. She was bred in Southern California.
Just outside of San Diego.
Out of San Diego.
So we'll see what happens as this filters. 6 fillies show up. Now they're being excused, Greg, and they'll come back in and work individually.
In numerical order, right? Number 3 will go first. Once again, thanks El Sheikh Stud. We really appreciate their contribution and sponsorship today. I think it's made it possible for us to be with you, and I hope that this experience of live coverage is going to be a new thing done in the Arabian horse business.
These horses are worthy. This is a great sport, investment opportunities for people, breeders of dreams, the creativity of creating these animals. And it's about time we start treating it like a serious sport event. There's the shots of the VIP area.
And that is, as they say, VIP, that is not an understatement. Probably the gross net worth of several countries is sitting in this group.
Safe place to be today. A lot of security.
A lot of security. They have the LED boards you'll see. There'll be sponsors and horses being shown down below. It'll run. It's kind of a neat sort of scoreboard.
There's beautiful spectators there, knowledgeable horse people. As you see the live feed spots through the crowd, you'll probably recognize many of your friends or famous breeders or owners or judges.
Just the beautiful people. Yeah. Here we go. Gate opens. Number 3 breaks the gate.
Homebred from Ajman Stud. Many years the Middle Eastern countries were purchasing the best horses and showing them. Now they're breeding the best horses on the planet, Greg.
That's absolutely true. They are doing an amazing job.
This filly has lots of credentials. We'll discuss them shortly. but being led today by Frank Spoonley from Germany, probably the highest decorated handler there is in the Arabian horse industry.
AJ Samara, sort of the leader of the European showmanship, as all the Americans were doing their thing years ago. Frank was sort of the guy that was right out of the box, the leader showing horses, and now there's a lot of competition, but he was Mr. Europe for a long, long time.
Frank has got the strategy down. Just use enough trot to get the most out of his horse. When he entered in the group walk, he did the least amount of show. He knows he's got a high quality horse here. As you see her, just extreme type, Greg. And he saved all his trot for when it really mattered, when she was individually being judged here. We'll see different strategies throughout the week, depending on if your horse can handle 2 goes or you want to save your best for when you're all out there by yourself.
Now he'll walk to center ring, he'll walk in front of both judges, both directions, and then they'll evaluate him.
There she is, right in front of the Eiffel Tower. Judges again using a scorecard, 1 through 20. I anticipate, and I know we don't want to get in trouble here, but I see some 19.5s and 20s in some of her marks today. The beautiful filly. I love her eye cages. Our tiny, tight muzzle.
Short head, between the eye and the muzzle.
Clean neck.
And very, very, and you can see she's just sort of blowing, snorting.
Yeah, that's art. French Ringmaster excuses you when he feels the judges have all had their time to evaluate their card. They use their iPads, send those scores electronically up.
In a couple moments, we'll have the scores.
Let's hope so.
Gets one more shot, took a little walk, they walk, take a look one more time. They'll ask him to, he's asking her to use her throat, tighten her body so she's smooth in her hip, and use her throat latch and attention in her face. Beautiful, beautiful expression in this filly's face.
That filly walks like she's special. Just exquisite.
See Frank patted her. That tells me Frank was very happy with her presentation, and he's loves her to death. I know he loves this filly, and he's probably happy that they're finished. And they'll get their score, and on we go.
And they'll read the scores of this horse while the second horse into the ring will be presented. So not to confuse you, the scores will be read will be always for the prior horse. Here we are, Tom Obie coming in. Alexandria.
Beautiful Alexandria NWA. She's by FAL Rashim out of Magnolia NWA.
That's a QR Mark daughter.
Out of a QR Mark daughter.
World champion QR Mark from San Jose, California. Led by the Quail Ridge Arabians. From your Magic Dreamline, her Grand Dam.
Tom Oben on the lead.
FAL Rashim from Missouri. So this filly essentially is American bred on top and bottom side. FAL Rashim bred in Missouri, sired by FAL Shawan, who ended up in Brazil at the end of his life. Great breeding horse. Now her sire lives in Dubai. She's from Denmark. That's a UN horse there, Greg.
Yeah, she's got kind of the miles like the suitcase has the stickers. Her halter bag probably has, blanket bag has stickers on it.
Where she's been.
Where she's been.
Obie, one of the tallest handlers here. He's from Belgium. The horse is from Denmark. And this is a large arena. He can cover in about 6 strides.
Number 5.
They're basically allowed 1 lap, Greg, and if they go up and back more than several times on each turn around, the ringmaster you'll see in the red coat will then ask them, okay, that's enough, and now the judges are ready for you to come to centering and be evaluated.
She hails from Denmark, NWA Arabians, bred and owned. Tom Oben on the lead.
I'm impressed with the haircuts. We saw horses in the stables yesterday, and we'll see them here live in the show ring. It's winter here in Northern Europe. Most of these horses reside in Northern Europe. A few from Italy, and they're natural coated. They're not body clipped, and they're shiny. They've been working hard to polish these girls up.
Yeah, that's not easy to do. We went to the back and watched the grooms clipping faces, and you can see the amazing clip job. The idea here on these faces is to clip them like a summer sort of shed out, so it's natural as it can be. You can see the whiskers are still on the face, on the muzzle.
Yeah, they have to leave several eyelashes on around the eyes. In America or Brazil, we can shave it all off. A little bit of whiskers on the muzzle, and then some hair in the ears. That is a gorgeous filly, though. Look how dark, triangular shaped her face is. Short again.
Great eye casing and a lot of expression. She's interested in being here today.
And her pedigree says type. World champions on both sides.
She was a June 28th foal, Rory.
She's matured just fine.
Yeah, June is late normally.
Especially for us in Scottsdale.
Yeah, we see February babies. Lots of January and February babies so that they can be as large as they can be this time of year and have more growth. June is not an early, it's halfway through the year. Weather's preferable to have them foal out in June, as you can imagine, but...
Especially in Denmark.
Yeah. And that's probably why she's a June, probably by design. But she has good size, and she's in beautiful condition today.
Oh, she's gorgeous. I mean, we're splitting hairs between these first two.
Oh my God, I don't even know who to pick yet, and I've only seen two.
And here's the first marks.
First marks are coming in. Number 6, Durar Al-Sayed. She's a yearling filly by Alexander and out of Delight Diva. Al-Sayed stud is the owner. Arthur Namciento from Brazil is on the lead. A Brazilian handler. Several of the guys from Brazil are up. Actually, he's in Argentina. He works for Haras Mayed in Argentina, but he's a Brazilian kid, and he's a very talented trainer from Brazil.
Her mother's from Brazil, imported from Brazil. Won the All Nations Cup, was national champion in Brazil, her mother, prior to leaving Brazil as a yearling filly. That goes back to out of Honey's Delight. So her grandmother's Honey's Delight, national champion. Her mother's a Brazilian national champion and Aachen champion. Her father, Alexander, born and raised in North Carolina, United States, the son of Excalibur. Alexander has also been world champion, now resides in Saudi Arabia. Argentinian handler with a Brazilian and an American bred horse. Owned by Al-Sayed stud in Saudi Arabia. Another fine example of just type, Greg. Beautiful.
You know, we noticed we saw 2 bays out of the box, now a gray. Historically, a lot of the people here in Europe and the Middle East really like the grays, particularly when they get white really young.
Can you imagine her when she's Snow White, 4 or 5-year-old?
Here comes some points. Is that what's going on?
She stacks up kind of nice and tall right there. Very upright filly. This guy's a great tactician in the stand-up, Arthur.
A lot of expression in that face. Look at her pop her nostrils. Her eyes are bright. She's a little concerned about 8 people walking around her. You can see her ears listening to people move. She's listening to Mr. Kamer as he walks around her. But what a beautiful face she has.
A little more up out of the shoulder than the previous 2 fillies.
A beautiful laid back shoulder.
This is a competitive section. Already 3 fillies I'd take home, any one of them.
A lot of expression in this filly today. She's just on her game, very expressive in her face. And when you're, believe me, when you're judging and you're 2 or 3 feet away and you see that much expression in the face, it really takes your heart. You really sort of buy in and say, wow, I love this. Arabian type, Arabian expression, they're just beautiful. Arthur's done. Number 8. This is SS Labella. She hails from California. No, actually California, yes. She's by Calypso. out of E.F. Bella Contessa, owned by Ottoman Arabians of Mount Shasta, California. Bred by and sold to Al Sakran Stud of Kuwait.
Her father, Calypso, born and raised in Germany, a son of Ajman, Monsión. From Heinz Steuchel's great breeding program, Osterhof Stud. Her mother, E.F. Bella Contessa, Greg marketed to Mustafa. We had her when I worked for you 15 years ago as a 2- and 3-year-old. Your breeder, Bruce Edwards, brought her down, and we sold her to a new people in the barn that day, and then she was resold again and kind of disappeared for about 14 years.
Yep.
18-year-old mare pops out her first baby to Calypso, and this is their first attempt.
And I believe she was silver in Aachen.
Yeah, she's done very
and
well.
Prettiest head in Mentone. You can see what you see on the hip actually is Ottoman Arabians puts a brand on their horses in California, and it has, so that's what you see right there on the left, and it has a number which indicates what foal she was of that season. They have a large farm of almost 300 horses on a 1,000-acre ranch in California.
Up there now, Mount Shasta.
It snows in the winter. It's an amazing place to see horses in sort of a natural habitat.
Families, you see the families of horses, mother, grandmother, great-grandmother, aunts, sisters. It's a great idea to see how it's breeding works. So a fascinating way, more like the polls with the numbers on the horses and the family groups.
And this would probably be the only horse other than the Polish horses that you'll see a brand all week.
That's correct.
But you can see her beautiful face. Her mother was beautiful like this. Her mother was super, super hot, lots of style, lots of sort of character and charisma.
And Calypso, her father, chestnut with a lot of chrome, and that mare took off a lot of the white. Philip Jose does a fine job, very smooth handler.
Yeah, very, very mature, quiet, professional handler. You look at him and you say, this guy's a craftsman.
Yes. He has more of a boutique operation.
Yeah, and
doesn't take the large numbers in training or show a big team, but does a fine job.
Of course, we know there isn't really any that don't do a fine job here.
They do a great job.
It's that level of competition. If you're not the top of the top, you're not showing here today.
It really feels like an all-star game or the World Cup of soccer. They're just, from all directions, great horses are coming out of the barns and into the collection ring and through the arena gate. They're turned out beautifully. So individual trot, and then a little bit of a walk, a stand-up, a walk again, and then a quick stand-up at the very end, and they turn their cards in.
There's Holger Ismer standing there getting bumped into the handler. I hope Holger doesn't hold that against the handler. He won't. He's a good guy. Judged the South African championships with him. Very, very good judge.
Breeder. His family are breeders.
And Murillo's done. He's handing in his card.
And there's the ringmaster again in the red suit. The French bellhop uniform, very nicely done. You can see as the horse walks off, the judges finish up their cards, turn them in, and then shortly the next horse will enter the arena. Very efficient here. And then of course we have the French Cooper Scooper girls doing a great job. Special footing, this needs to be taken care of. Lots of spring to it. Horses move really well on this footing. Next in the arena, with Miles Buckley from England. This is Duchess Amaya DMC. Beautiful gray yearling filly. Duchess, a daughter of Aja Angelo, and out of Amelia, a daughter of Aja Aja.
Aja.
Bred and owned by fantastic breeders in the UK. Don Casco and Malik Morrison.
One of the young handlers, huh, Roar? One of the new guys, Miles Buckley.
He came over to the US a few years ago and learned his trade, with like many of these handlers have done over the years. Spent some time in America, took all of our great ideas and then improved upon them and took them home. It was a fantastic job, Miles.
These boys can run with their horses, that's for sure.
It's a young man's game. I mean, Philip Jose, Frank can keep up with these guys, but it's not for the faint of heart. They have to cover some ground. They show almost every weekend, don't they, Greg? They were in Egypt, many of these handlers, just last week, or Kuwait, showing right before the World Championships. They're fit. First time in a long time, 2 U.S. judges, Greg.
I saw that. I was thinking about that. Leslie Connor and
Joe Polo.
Joe Polo. Joe Polo, I think, has done, he's done Dubai, he's done I think he's done Paris once before.
Yeah. Judges around the world.
Judges a lot, Joe Polo. He's used to be a professional trainer, and now he sort of manages and breeds and advises and consults and judges a lot, and has some private businesses as well. Joe, you'll find, is one of the most courteous judges you'll find. He'll shake hands and he'll say, excuse me, and thank you, and I loved your horse. And he's very communicative with the handlers, and I think they appreciate it. You know, everybody's nervous, particularly first class, first day.
Nice filly, Greg.
Nice, solid filly.
You can see why they started with 14.50 in the catalog and 6 came through the gate. You got to bring the best of the best to show here.
Yeah, and they have to be ready. Some of those horses maybe could get sore on the trip over, catch a cold on the trip over, lost some weight on the trip over.
And maybe not eating.
Yeah, so they have to be the best they can be that day. Not unlike any other high-level equestrian event or sporting event.
Different drug rules here. No non-steroidal anti-inflammatories such as butanamine, ketofin. Those are 7 days out. So you can't even deal with a sore trip or a little bit of a virus or a little shipping flu and try to fix it in a couple days here. You got to show what you have, all natural. Of course, ginger testing as well.
And you can tell from, Rory and my experience as horsemen, these horses are not gingered. It's always very obvious when they are, and it's just not something that's done here in Europe or the Middle East.
Not accepted. You stand out. These horses are so refined and their pieces are so high quality that they don't need that extra influence. Nice job, Miles. It's a big stage here. He's shown here several times, but every time you come out here, the stands are full, Greg. We're here with a live feed, and you got to bring your A game.
You know, Rory, that's absolutely right. It is a big stage.
He did a great job there.
Welcome to the big leagues. NFL, not for long if you don't get her done.
That's right. There we go. Fredericks on in. This is the tallest handler on the circuit.
Dana J. in this number 11 by Excalibur.
World champion.
Dalla J. So she is by Excalibur out of Dalla J, a yearling filly.
It's out of an Emerald J daughter. So definitely Christine Jamar and Jada Moretti breeding program from Belgium. Top and bottom owner breeder. She's a great judge, broker, agent, started a lot of people in the business. Been breeding horses for, I think she had a 50-year celebration this year involving the Arabian horse business. Frederick came and spent a year winter with us about 15, 20 years ago when we were working together in Scottsdale.
Yes, he did.
We told him all the wrong things to do.
He didn't even know how to drive a car in America when he came. He kept looking for French fries.
Yeah, he's a good guy. That's a good guy. Him and his brother Joris comes to the United States quite a bit. Helps raid on Arabians. A very mature filly on this one, Greg. Very mature. A lot of size to her. Of course, born the first week of January. Look at the difference in maturity of this filly than the 2 fillies earlier, the one that Oben showed from Denmark, the June filly. She looks like a 2-year-old almost by now. She is. Each one of them picks a different strategy where they feel most comfortable present that horse in centering. There's no specific direction you must point your horse, Greg, but many of us in the United States, what do we like to do? Face the outgate, don't we?
Always face the outgate. They like to look where they came from.
Yeah, their friends are out there. It's a great place to focus. Less lights are usually pointing towards the outgate. Leader in the clubhouse at this point, AJ Samara with a 92.17. The first filly in the ring is leading our first section of yearling fillies here in Paris. SS Labella is ranked second as we go right now with a 91.08, and third is Dara Al Said with a 90.92.
Think about that. That's like 1.5 points ahead is the only difference in
with 8 people.
Yeah.
Statistically, it's almost a tie if you think about it. You math majors out there. But in the horse shows, she's got a pretty good lead there of 1.5 points.
Yeah.
That's going to be hard to get past. And Samara's won throughout the year. One Aachen, one Menton.
Yeah,
she's doing her job.
It's not the first time she's excelled. She has won the toughest competition already, and probably the favorite coming into this section.
Do you think there's any disadvantage coming first, or is it better first impression be the first horse in the ring, Greg?
You know, historically for me, I don't think coming in first and then getting scored first is a good thing, because I think the numbers are tight. What I mean by that is the judges
Want to reserve something, huh?
Yeah, they're just unsure. Is this an 18 and a half? Is this a 19? I don't want to just give 19s out for fun. Do I give a 19 and a half? So I think the numbers are tighter in the beginning. And the beginning of the show, I think you'll notice. You'll see some 20s come later in the week. Maybe not till then. We'll see. When the girls come out, the older mares, you might get some, or the boys, but numbers stay tight until it sort of starts to loosen up.
Well, it didn't hurt her today. So there's an exception to every
No.
rule. She's just super high quality.
There's your judge's score on that winner. He did get a 20 on 2 20s.
For type, and he also two 20s for
on
head and neck.
Samara.
Yep, and another 20 for movement. Lots of 19.5s.
Yeah.
The 92-point score over here in the Middle East and Europe is certainly a very solid top 3 score in most classes. So we have 6 fillies in, 6 fillies judged. They'll place 5, but 4 automatically go to the championship, and then the next 2 highest scores between the Section A or Section B will then advance. So we'll end up with 10 yearling fillies, and every class this weekend there'll be 10 in the final on Sunday for the championship, vying for that prestigious title world champion.
See Michael Byatt sitting in the crowd in the first row down there.
He's been coming to Paris for years, probably one of the first American handlers to support the show by visiting or showing. He's bred horses. He has a filly in the second go he bred and marketed to Arabian Soul Partners. We'll see her in Section B. He shows at Aachen every few years. He's embraced this way before many of us did.
You know, he's actually now really a good breeder, more than a handler, I would
Primarily
say.
the horses he shows in the United States were born and raised on his farm, whether he bred them with his family or his clients, he manages them. So that's a great experience to go down in the middle of nowhere, Texas, down by Houston, and see national champion mares and their offspring and the grandchildren. It's a great breeding program. Lots of different bloodlines. And he stands world famous horses owned by clients from around the world. So a great experience. I think, Greg, as much as going to competitions to evaluate horses, it's great to go to breeding farms and not only see the stars, but where they came from and why are they the way they're made up.
Yeah, I don't think most of the time they come there's no surprises. When you see a special one, they have a special mom, special dad. Genetics really do prevail most of the time. They're pretty consistent, and greatness comes from greatness.
In the VIP area, they spoil you very well here. Lots of beverages, snacks. There's
a lot of famous French chocolate, I noticed.
Yes, it is. Specific people have to pay a sponsorship to put their flyers or their magazines or their books or advertisements on the tables. There's an unlimited amount of beautiful magazines here and advertising. They get very creative in promoting the horses over here in the Middle East, Europe, the Akaho shows. As you can see, the electric mesh board, just like the World Cup soccer match. What's interesting, though, is as extravagant as the prizing and the advertising and the decorations is, the ribbons and trophies are not exorbitant here. They're not over the top. They're more subtle.
So they're getting ready to place the ribbons. Rory's going to go down and go live and talk to the winner and get their feelings on their placing. And he's headed towards center ring right now. AJ Samara, owned and bred by Ajman Stud, presented today by Frank Spoonley in 92.17 points. Type was 19.5, 19.5, 19.5, 19.5, 20, and 20. Head and neck, 19.5, 19.5, 19.5, 19.5, 20, 20. back in top line, 18 and 17.5, 17.5, 18, 18.5, 18. Legs 15.5, 15.5, 16, 15.5, 16, 15.5. Movement 19.5, 19, 18, 19.5, 20, and 19.5. So there you have it. That was the way they saw it on the winner of that class, AJ Samara. And they announced the winner. Everybody's watching. There he is, Mr. Spoonley with AJ Samara. You can tell Frank doesn't have much emotion, but you can tell the little smirk on his face. He's happy. He loves her. It's one of his favorites. I saw him this morning at the hotel, and he talked a great deal about her and what she meant to him at this point in his career. He says these are hard to find, and I know he looks all over the world to find them. There's his partner, Alicia Grassi. And she works as hard at this and the promotion and marketing of the horses for their clients as anybody. Very, very gifted couple. And there's Sheikh Hamid of El Shakab, standing there with his ribbons to give away. Al Sheikh Stud, thank you very much for sponsoring this. You are such a great supporter of the breed. There's Sheikh Amar right there in the sweater. The breeder, the owner, owns Ajman Stud. Very, very serious, committed breeder. I mean, one of those that is the Arabian horse is very important to him, the heritage, the belief, and I can tell you that he does it right, he does it honestly, he does it professionally. He's a good man, and that's a great team. Congratulations, well deserved. They're lining up to come out and get their ribbons, their placings. Number 8, SS La Bella was second with 91.08. Duran Al Sayed was 90.92. Alexandria NWA was 90.83. Dana, number 11, 90.67 was fifth. There's Shara Sabankaya, the breeder, the blonde, tall blonde woman from the States. She's excited. She loves her horses. That's your reserve or your gold, I imagine. Second place. Not your gold. Second place in this division. They'll take the ceremonial photos and all shake hands. It's sort of a relief for everybody competing. There's, you know, you can't imagine the nerves, the blood, sweat, and tears of the work and the effort to get these horses once you foal them, to realize they are what they are, bring them to the farm, get them in shape, teach them to show, put them in the truck, take them to the horse show, hope they don't get hurt, begin to build their careers. And these are babies, and they're good babies, but they're still babies. And so this is all new to them. But they, you know, in kudos to the Arabian horse, because they're all taking it in stride and just sort of speaks to the mind, the wonderful mind of an Arabian horse. And it makes me understand why these horses lived in the tents with the Bedouins hundreds of years ago. I know Rory's down there somewhere trying to get to Spoonley to talk to him about his filly. He's going to do an interview for us, and nobody does that better at the moment than Rory. You'll see him at all the shows worldwide, and he'll get to those people and sort of feel their emotions and talk to them much more than I could convey to you today. Tom Oben has a big smile on his face, happy, 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 happy. You know, a lot of halter guys are not tall, the trainers. They're not tall because the horses aren't huge horses. And people think they make them look small. They don't. It doesn't matter. These guys are good horsemen. Maybe they stand a little bit away, but you get a sense of when you're judging them, the size compared to the height of the handler. There's Christine Jamar of Jadim Arabians. Very, very committed breeder, good judge. There's the coveted ribbons, Salon de Cheval. 40th, about the 40th year of the Salon de Cheval and the World Championships for Arabian horses in Paris. I was looking at that the other night. Well, Mr. Spoonley leads the group. He's the winner, number 3. That's about as happy as you'll see Frank get. Doesn't show his emotions on his sleeve. I can guarantee you he's one happy handler right now. She's beautiful. And when you get up close to her, 2 or 3 feet away, and maybe Rory will be able to do that, absolutely breathtakingly beautiful.